This episode is brought to you by Hotline, an advice podcast by your horror movie talk host, David Day, that's me, and Babyface Billy. You can find it wherever you find podcasts by searching for Hotline, an advice podcast. Here is a short excerpt from Hotline to whet your appetite. And the last little bit, comment we have is is very short. Would you guys fuck a legless, armless bitch that gives good head? ? No cap, I'm about to log roll with that bitch if she slob on it.
What savage contacted us here on our email?
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
An opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Go, 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 go.
Let's go through the scraggly woods.
He had no face!
Horror!
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it. New theatrical releases always get priority.
But we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk, your panel of expert hosts. This week are Dr. Bruce Henson, who holds a PhD in spookology, and me, Professor David Day, the foremost expert in scare meow meows. Today, we have a great episode for you guys. We will be reviewing the movie Old by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong himself. But first, I'd like to intro the show to you. If you're a new listener, you may not realize that you're listening to the podcast with the very best community of any podcast you've ever listened to. This is evidenced by our Facebook group, which is full of a bunch of super cool people. You can check us out, find links to all of our social media on our website at horrormovietalk.com. We watch second Saturday watch parties. We watch movies together with you, our community, every second Saturday of the month. So join the Facebook group for that. We got a Twitch channel. We got all kinds of social media. We talk to people. Hit us up if you want to talk. We're totally willing. We post new episodes every single Wednesday. If you'd like to get a hold of the show, call us at 682-253-4468. And reach out to us. We love that. Today we have a super special episode because I have my good friend on the show to promote Hotline, an advice podcast. This is Babyface Billy himself. Babyface, say hello.
Hello, everyone. This is William Steele here, communicating to you from the Bronx, New York.
Yeah, you're from the Bronx. What's it like out there today, Billy?
Am I in the wrong character?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. William is definitely, that's
William Steele.
Your given name, right, Billy?
Right.
William Steele. This is Babyface fucking Billy here. I only came on to this podcast today because I heard you had a bigger reach, and I really want to get into contact with Violet Mayers.
Yeah, if you listen to Hotline and Advice podcast, you will know that Billy is somewhat obsessed with a very beautiful
porn star.
Yes. Named Violet.
Have you seen her, Bryce?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar. I don't really remember names.
Are you allowed to see her?
I'm not really a fan of remembering names.
Oh.
Other than, I don't know, I think there might be one or two that I remember, but that's not one of them.
That's definitely misogynistic of you.
Jesus Christ, that's just rude. You don't remember the names of ladies?
Yeah. That's terrible.
I'm sorry.
My advice to you would be, as an advice giver on Hotline and Advice podcast, my advice would be to remember their names.
I'll try to do better.
Treat them like people.
See, it's not fair because they changed their names too.
Right.
What?
It's like,
she's been known as Violet Mayers for the past however many years I've been watching her.
Yeah, however many those are. It's a lot.
Right.
She's a beautiful young lady. It looks as if she's bleached her nipples because they've changed in color. over the past couple of years. They were a nice brown. Now they're like a pale color. She's beautiful either way.
I think that's just a natural occurrence. I think
A progression.
Progression.
A progression.
Kind of
Or
like
she had kids.
Yeah.
No, she didn't have kids. She doesn't have any scars or anything.
How
She's
do you
beautiful.
know? You don't have to have scars to have a kid.
She has no scars, no stretch marks. Her skin is flawless. But can I do the horror movie talk? Yell in the hotline. Yell.
Well, but back off of that mic here a little bit, there, guy.
All right, how's it from here?
Yeah, back. Why don't you just turn around?
Rick, go right ahead.
Horror movie talk. Fuck glittercore.
Whoa, coming out hot.
So you are a fan of the show, Billy?
I fucking hate this show.
Okay.
Can you? But you know who glittercore is, obviously.
Yeah.
So you must know who we also have calling in from the Bronx.
Yeah. Have you met? Well, go ahead.
Rojo we have a frequent caller named Rojo. Goes by Rojo from the Bronx.
That's the guy that died.
Well, they said he died, but he
came back.
Yeah, he came
I mean, he left a voicemail. He doesn't really keep track of his own occurrences, apparently, because he called back as Rojo.
Oh, shit. I'm pretty sure he died in a Poon-related accident. If you could see my name here on the Zoom meeting, it's Drag Me to Poontown.
Yeah. That's his username. He doesn't know how to change it.
I mean,
God bless him. God bless him.
The question is, do you know Rojo?
I have no idea who the guy is. He sounds like a swell guy from what you're telling me.
Well, I assume that anyone in the Bronx knows each other.
Right.
So
the Bronx is fucking huge.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it as big as Vancouver, though?
Am I allowed to curse on this Christian podcast?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, so that's Billy. You can catch a whole load of him over at Hotline and Advice Podcast. My brother won't listen to that show because he finds Babyface's voice grating and unbearable. Literally.
He shouldn't listen to it. It's a terrible fucking podcast. A lot of us are misogynistic and conservative, and that's from David Day.
Well, that's
because I'm a liberal, loving lunatic.
No, that's not true at all. None of that.
Hell yeah, Pride Month.
Okay, so we went and saw Old by M. Night Shyamalan, and I was reminded of super obvious dialogue from the 50s monster movies in the most charming way possible. So without any further ado, let's get into the trailer.
Are we there yet?
This beach, it's beautiful.
My swimsuit is hurting.
They do look small.
Come on, let's play hide and seek.
Have you seen my children?
Mom, I'm right here.
He was 6 years old this morning.
Oh no.
Mom, I'm scared.
There's something wrong with this beach.
We were chosen for a reason.
What's happening?
I don't know.
I can't think.
Old. Only in theaters this summer.
I chose the super short trailer to
Thank fucking goodness.
Yeah, to play for you guys, just because all the other ones were like 3 or 4 minutes long, and I was like, God damn it, that's way too long. So, as you heard in the trailer, Old can be found in theaters right now. It came out about 2 weeks ago. We're a little late on this one. Sorry about that. So, the synopsis for Old goes a little something like this. Old is a film about a group of strangers who meet on a resort trip to a special beach. Our main characters are the family of father, Guy, mother, Priscia, daughter, Maddox, and son, Trent.
They just sound like a-holes.
Yeah, kind of. Well, no, they sound foreign, so that's just...
Who the fuck names their daughter Maddox?
Maddox and Trent, that's full-on yuppie.
I wrote a whole list
names.
of shit that I hated about this movie, and it was all from the first 3 minutes of exposition.
See, one thing you'll learn about Babyface pretty quickly is he doesn't like anything. Nothing. There's nothing good, except for Violet Myers.
I gotta tell you, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, hang on.
I'm boiling right now.
Well, let's finish the synopsis. Our protagonist couple are experiencing marital strife, but are taking this vacation nonetheless. As our band of beachgoers spend their day, they find a woman's body in the waves, and things take a turn for the unpleasant. They also start to notice that they seem to be showing signs of mysterious aging. At the end of the day, everyone gets older than they bargained for.
My first question is, this movie trope of a couple having strife and then going on vacation. Does anyone ever do that?
Oh my God, I'm sure it happens all the time.
If I'm extremely pissed off at my wife all the time, the last thing I'd want to do is spend more time with her.
Well, look,
why the hell would you go on vacation with her?
Well, look, what are you going to do? You plan a vacation 8 months in advance, and then you get in an argument 3 weeks ahead of time, and then you're fucked. What are you going to do? Not go on vacation?
Here's what you do. Let me tell you something from the standpoint of the babyface Billy.
From Drag Me to Poontown.
So drag me to Poontown here. This is what you do. You make sure, and this is the perfect place to do it since it's a deserted island. You fucking kill her. And then you throw her into a stream, and then you say, I don't know what happened. She was walking. She was taking a gingerly stroll, being the, is she fucking German?
I think so.
This is coming from a man who gives advice.
She was marching with her Nazi outfit on the shore saying, I hate the Jews. And then she fucking fell down a creek.
There you have it. That's how you deal with your marital issues if you're babyface Billy.
Tune into Hotlines podcast for more Hotline podcast for more jewels of wisdom.
If you here's the review for Old. Old is at its core a fun movie. Now shut your mouth. It's at its core a fun movie. It has some disturbing concepts, impressive stakes, interesting characters, and that trademark M. Night twist that we've all come to expect.
Oh, shit.
We expect the twist so much that it might be more of a twist if he just left the twist off, but, kind of whatever. I found myself giddy with laughter at points in Old and oddly disturbed at other points. Mostly, I had a wonderful time in the theaters, giggling like a schoolgirl with my buddy Bryce, tittering over little jokes we made or quotes we thought of. Hey, Babyface, did you take any young ladies to see this with you?
Let me tell you, I'm happy I did it because they would have been... Here's the fucking thing with this movie, Old, okay? The tonal shifts don't make any fucking sense. I thought I was watching a comedy with all the bullshit actors they have here delivering these lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there laughing at points where I guess you're not supposed to laugh at. I was literally one of 6 people in this fucking theater. 2 of them were on a date. The other 2 is a lesbian couple. You could tell what role was which because one was wearing sandals, the other one was wearing Jordans. They were smoking in the fucking theater.
They were smoking?
They were smoking the one of those electric cigarette things.
Wow.
But she had some nice toes, the lady in the relationship, I'll tell you that.
Old is not a serious movie.
Thank goodness.
It's like going to see Batman Forever with friends in the movie theater, but it's good. If you're looking for something to terrify you, let's face it, M. Night isn't your guy. He's your guy for stuff that makes you think about all the weird possibilities in this world he dreamt up. How do we get out of this trap? Why is this happening to us? Who's in charge? How old do I have to get before I accidentally shit my pants? And so forth. There are lots of panning shots that cleverly make use of space and time.
There's a nice shot I gotta tell you, David, when you finish this.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But some of the panning was distractingly stuttery. Did you notice that, Billy? Was it the same in your theater?
Let me tell you something. I thought there was something wrong. Yes.
The tracking
I thought there was
on the
something
shot
wrong.
was all fucked.
Yeah.
I think that had to do with the aging that they were using. They were aging the skin, and you could see it on the screen. I think that's what you're talking about there.
No, so specifically what I'm talking about is when the camera would pan, you'd get a bunch of ghosting.
It's called anti-aliasing.
Yeah, you get a bunch of anti-aliasing. So it's a couple images dragging behind the original image. It was I think it had to do with the fact that we were in the theater we were in is 30 years old or so, 25 or 30 years old.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be the projection equipment. It could be the actual print. It's hard to say what it is because sometimes it would be in focus and sometimes it wouldn't.
Right.
Like sometimes it would happen on a sweeping shot and sometimes not. I don't know.
I came back home with marks on my body.
It was distracting though.
Yeah,
it was like, wow, it wasn't even moving super fast. It was just panning and you're like, ugh, I feel
little motion
like
sick.
I'm going blind.
Yeah. So much of Old felt like an homage to thrillers and monster movies from the 50s because the script is utterly expositional. It's cheesy, yes, but it's not remotely offensive in the way it's pulled off to me. I cared about and was interested by all the characters and their sometimes insane actions. Old was way more fun than I thought it would be, and thanks to the beautiful sunny locations, I'm saying it, it's this year's must-see summer thriller.
You're full of shit, and you know it.
I love
Full of
it.
shit.
I had such a good time. I had such a good time watching this movie.
Let me ask you guys. Serious question. When they started the beginning portions of the movie, when they were doing those big shots of like the island and all the natural scenery, this movie could have turned into a fucking Jurassic Park movie at any moment, and I probably would have been happier if it turned into a fucking Jurassic Park movie when they went through that cavern. If they were fucked by a Tyrannosaurus Rex, they probably would have been a better movie.
You're like a big dirty raccoon.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I had a pretty
What do you
good
think,
time.
Bruce? Bruce, talk to me here, man. I'm alone here with David Day.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Didn't it look like The Lost World?
A little bit. I mean, that's the part that's interesting is that they show up and it's this beautiful resort.
Yeah.
And you expect, like, if you hadn't seen the trailer, you'd be like, huh, something interesting is going to happen at this resort. And then it all takes place on just
a fucking
this one
Stegosaurus.
So what did you think about it, Bryce?
It was really goofy, and
Yes.
I agree it was fun. I wouldn't say it's a good movie. It's that, and I wouldn't say it's so bad it's good. It's like this weird middle range of just being kind of a mediocre movie, but being really charming about it.
It's so charming. Remember the ruins?
Yeah.
It's like the ruins, but it doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Well, no, I think it takes it seriously. I see. This is kind
they
of
have a character named Mid-Size Sedan in this movie.
That's pretty great. I mean, it is really an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Like, and you kind of, it used to be where you'd be like, oh, M. Night Shyamalan's jumped the shark. Like, he's not good, or he's like doing the same thing over and over again. I think as his career has progressed, I think I've just more understood where his wheelhouse is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this type of movie. It's not, you have such high expectations because you think
Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable or, like one of those early movies. And the only difference between like the concept and the goofiness of those movies and this is budget. Like, it just looked a lot better and the production was a lot better in those early movies because he got probably more money, and Hollywood's very fickle. So, like, if the opinion changes of the director, like, it'll affect what type of movies they can make, which is also interesting because the movie opens with a direct appeal from M. Night Shyamalan to please keep seeing his movies, basically.
Fucking hell, man.
He's like, I love releasing movies in the theater. It's very important to me. Thank you.
That didn't have anything to do with him pleading for the audience to continue watching his movies. That was him expressing a desire for movie theaters not to go away because of like COVID. And
sure.
Let me tell you, man. I liked that he came out here and gave an intro to the movie because the intro itself was fucking cheesy, and it helped explain. It set the tone for this mediocre cheese fest that I was about to watch. So thank you, M. Night Shyamalan, for that intro. I was about to leave right after that if I wasn't so hooked on the toes sitting in front of me.
This is one of those things where M. Night Shyamalan like is kind of a joke in like meme culture or pop culture, but you watch his movies and you're like, well, it's enjoyable. Like I actually, it's a fun movie experience. It's not great.
Dude,
it's not like
that's
bankable.
M. Night is so dependably good for me. Like he hits it out of the park almost every time for me.
I think he's a really good idea man. Not necessarily the best writer, but like
not a bad writer.
Not a bad writer, but like good enough.
I mean, okay, you got Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Split. You got The Village, Signs. The Visitors is an if you haven't seen The Visitors, holy moly, that movie is unbelievably fun. I really like M. Night. He made The Happening, and then everybody just wrote him off. Like you're not.
I like The Happening.
Like you're not allowed to have a mistake. Why do you like?
I like that movie. It was great. The beginning of the movie, people are falling from fucking buildings. It was great.
And you don't like this. Give it.
I don't want to go into the spoiler territory because we're not in that segment yet.
Give me your just in a quick synopsis here, Billy. What's your taste in horror? Like, what are your?
All right, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this shit?
What are your tops?
All right, so I'm more of a bottom, but that's another story. Let me tell you. Before going to watch this movie yesterday, I was watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That's what I was sending you those photos.
Oh, okay.
Of that movie, okay. And I'll tell you, I enjoyed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 more than Part 1 because it was so fucking goofy, and I love it. I love goofy horror comedies that don't take themselves seriously. Going back to the Evil Dead review you guys did, I didn't like Part 1. I liked Part 2 because it was so fucking cheesy and funny.
Yeah.
So I love horror films that are comedic, that don't take themselves seriously.
How do you feel about Critters and Ghoulies?
Critters and Ghoulies? Is Critters the one that was on fucking Sci-Fi?
No.
Yeah, it did have a show that came out on Shudder. I mean, it was definitely a movie that you would have seen on Sci-Fi if that's what
I think it was on Sci-Fi. Spin it back to the Sci-Fi thing. If you're watching a movie that is on Sci-Fi 2 years after its fucking release, the movie fucking sucked.
No, it doesn't.
But that's not the point here.
Cube was on
What?
Sci-Fi all the time, and it was.
Is Cube the Spanish film?
No, it's Canadian.
What?
Yeah.
Which is the Spanish film where they're? Oh, that's Platform.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Platform? That's not the fucking point here. I love horror comedy movies. That's what I enjoy. If it's a horror movie that's taking itself too fucking seriously, like those godforsaken A24 films, can't fucking stand them. I fucking hated Midsommar. It's about this whitey bitch. This guy should have got out of this relationship way before he didn't deserve to die in a fucking bear suit. Are you kidding me? And everyone's like, oh, he had it coming for being him, for being himself. Sure, he had relationship issues.
He was inconsiderate.
It's a fucking joke, but I did like the beginning of that movie. Her cries were so just haunting. That was the best part of that film.
A lot of people agree with you on both of those points.
On A24, it's fucking they're milking the titties of these Star Wars shirt wearing motherfuckers.
Hey.
Shit.
I don't appreciate that.
Sorry about that.
I have several Star Wars shirts.
Take a moment and say that the views that
I'm heated right now from this movie.
The views that Billy expresses are not those of Horror Movie Talk Inc. My score for Old is 7 out of 10.
You're crazy.
I had a really good time with this, and I would watch it again. It is being added to my lovely wall of movies that I enjoy of M. Night Shyamalan movies. What do you think, Bryce?
7 out of 10.
What do you think, Bryce? Let's not interrupt constantly.
I mean,
sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I think it's better than average, but not by much. This is one of those sixes for me. Like it's it doesn't pass the I really want to watch it again or show it to a lot of people, but in the moment it was enjoyable just because it was, again, if I had watched this alone, it would not be nearly as enjoyable. It probably would have been a 5 if I watched it alone, but the fact that I could turn to you and make little observations of the film.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Okay, Billy, what do you got to say? What's your score?
Let me tell you.
We score on a scale of 1 to 10.
Scale of 1 to 10. From the first 3 minutes of the movie, it established that none of these characters are likable. All right. The kids were obnoxious. And if you're starting a movie with a little girl singing, like really trying to sing, you're already losing points because I find it obnoxious. The son was obnoxious. He was trying to be funny. He had some cute moments, but he was so unlikable. The wife was so unlikable. The husband, first of all, I felt like these were just foreign actors giving English lines. And they were trying to they were trying their hardest to belch him out. What was that movie? What was the movie with the guy that's a pervert now? Franco. What's his brother's name?
There's so many of them.
The sex pest?
Yes. What was the name where it was?
Franco, James Franco.
No, his brother. No, not his brother. James Franco played the role of this. What was the movie?
Kevin Spacey or
you need a lot.
Bill
more.
Cosby? Is it Leonard
No,
number 6?
it was Franco.
The Interview.
Who played yes. What? No, it wasn't The Interview. That was the one where they killed the Asian dude.
Yeah.
Where was it was a tongue-in-cheek movie.
Spider-Man 3.
What?
Spider-Man 3.
Fucking hell! Hold on a second. But
was it the one about the room?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. It sounded like these were actors from The Room. Okay. Like they were all that main character. They were trying to say these roles. I can't remember any lines that this woman said or that this guy said.
You're tearing me apart, guy.
That's exactly what the whole beginning, what these two actors sound like the whole time. So from that, combined with the Jurassic Park feeling I got, the disappointment that I experienced when there weren't dinosaurs in these first 3 minutes, I was giving it a solid 3 out of 10.
Wow.
3 out of 10. Just based on the 3 minutes, the beginning. But
there's a whole movie after that.
Yes. As the movie progressed and with that the twist at the end, I gave it a 5 because it was enjoyable. I didn't understand what was happening, what the tone was. Was it a comedy? Was it a dramatic comedy? What the fuck was happening? I had a blast watching it, but I just couldn't take it seriously.
What the fuck?
Also, there were some scenes that were really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
There was, yeah.
I hate the movie. It was okay. It was funny. I liked it a lot.
All right. So we're all around the same mid-spectrum. Let's do the mid-roll and get into the spoilers because I really want to talk about spoilers with this one.
So if you would like to help support the podcast and clothe yourself with some of the hottest merchandise that you can possibly find on this planet, you should head on over to nightchannels.com. If you do, you will find a selection of shirts and sweatshirts that have so much cool shit on them that your head will fucking explode like scanners. And you know what they got over there?
T-shirts of scanners.
A t-shirt of scanners.
This is a sampling of some of the new shirts that they have. They've got a Society, the 1989 Society. We just did a review on that a couple months back. They've got a couple new Hellraiser designs, City of Lost Children, Hour of the Wolf, and Liquid Sky. I mean, these are pretty deep cuts.
Yeah.
Even for us. And that's the kind of horror knowledge you get at Night Channels.
And they're not just like, you know, the movie poster. They're like fucking like cuts from the movie, you know, like the Chatterer from Hellraiser's face,
or like foreign posters kind of stuff. They're really interesting. So really all you got to do is go to nightchannels.com and start browsing, and I guarantee you'll find something that you're like, I want that. And then maybe that as well. Might as well get this while I'm getting that. Use code HMT at checkout and you'll get 13% off. I'll tell you what, like, this is the sponsor where most people come back to us and say, yeah, we definitely bought some stuff from them.
Yeah,
so
Night Channels loves us because you guys keep buying stuff from Night Channels. And that's really, that says enough in and of itself.
And it's a good partnership. In this last email he sent, he was like, yeah, let us know what's coming up on the docket. Maybe we can make some shirts for that. So, I mean, if we have requests from fans, we could probably get something made over at Night Channels.
Yeah. So again, use code HMT at checkout. It gets you 13% off of your order, and they have some new selections for different styles of shirts as well. So check them out. And you should know that if you're listening to these commercials, you don't have to. If you sign up to become a patron over on patreon.com/horrormovietalk, you can skip these commercials. Mm-hmm. And also, you can get access to the Afterpods, which is a whole nother podcast that we record and play exclusively on Patreon. There's also a ton of other perks and stuff. You can get yourself, if you sign up for a certain level of patronage, you can get a Horror Movie Talk shirt just sent to you with a bunch of stickers and show notes and all kinds of cool shit. So
a lot of people talk about, the real heroes. Some people say the teachers are the real heroes, or mothers are the real heroes.
Mm-hmm.
You know who the real heroes are?
Good sanitation workers.
Well, the real heroes. But next to them,
porn stars
are patrons.
Patrons
are people that sign up for Patreon. And we'll probably hear it on the voicemail, but we got berated by one of our patrons because we mentioned that Night Channels is our favorite sponsor, and they were saying, how are they your favorite sponsor? What about your Patreon members? And that's true. Patreon is our favorite. I don't consider them sponsors. I consider them friends.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
I consider them family. So if you consider them friends, I consider them family. And just real quick here, I want to thank, I think we have one new patron, Belzora Hollow.
That's not the real name.
Well, no, obviously.
Belzora
Hollow. Thank you, Belzora, for hopping on our Patreon and supporting us. We appreciate you. And
except she won't hear this.
Yeah, she won't hear this, but I'll say it again. If I got another great way to support Horror Movie Talks, head on over to our website, go to the shop, buy some stickers, buy a coaster, buy a shirt, and then you get to rep my brand. And you also get to support us. Check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel, who fucks so hard. He fucks everything in sight. He just fucks it to death. And in his wake is a long line of dead things that have been fucked. And
all consensual.
All consensual, because he has the contracts to prove it. He also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans, so contact him at dgoebel00. That's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram. Make your artistic dreams come true. Tell him that we sent you. Call the show. I should mention, at the end of this show, we're going to be doing Horror Movie Talk Whores. And you can get a hold of that voicemail line by calling 682-253-4468. Thanks again for listening, and let's get into spoilers. Spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
It should be mentioned that we have new hardware here today. We have a new...
Yeah, I was going to say rest in peace our old mixer. Because we'll no longer be able to do the voice changing.
I think we should have gotten another one. I like that one. But, okay, I'll take the Tascam over the Yamaha.
Yeah. We're having some growing pains, some learning curve issues, but this one is great.
In a couple of weeks, it'll all be, you won't remember anything. It'll just be. So anyway, at the start of this movie, M. Night Shyamalan came on the screen, as he is wont to do in all of his movies. But this one, he just talked directly to us with his face and said, I miss you. I love you. I really enjoy that you come to see my movies in theaters. And I felt, it warmed the cockles of my heart.
Yeah, I'm more cynical. I was like, it felt like he was begging us to keep seeing his movies.
Well, why would he need to do that? We were already there. The only people who are going to see it are people.
Well, then you're going to watch old, and you might be like, "Is it worth it? Should I just wait to see these on Netflix?" He's not like, "No, it's very important that you come see them here."
I was actually disappointed that I couldn't stream this movie.
Yeah, you put up quite a big fight. You said
I was looking for a reimbursement for this. You know how much money I spent?
How much? I
spent $14 on a ticket. Then after the ticket, I had to buy snacks.
You had to.
I bought a diet Coca-Cola, not our sponsors, Coke Zero, over on the Hotline Advice podcast. They're our sponsors.
Well, they were until they dropped us because of the stuff that you said.
Oh, that's true. The fucking pussies. Now, what was I saying here? I was very angry.
So that's kind of an amateur move. I mean, aren't you supposed to sneak your snacks in? Like, I would think a hoodlum such as yourself would sneak your snacks in.
Yeah, I was in the theater with a bunch of hoodlums in addition to myself. I told you they were taking part in illegal, illicit drug use. They were smoking. There were clouds of smoke in the theater. It was a shit show.
Yeah. Were they smoking doobies?
Were they?
I don't know if they were the doobies. Are they called doobies? Doobuzz?
I don't know.
Oh, fucking knows. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then the movie opens up with the most precocious kids, all in capital letters. Precocious.
See, this is where M. Night Shyamalan's writing kind of like falls short. Is that he's got all the moving parts, but it's so like visible what he's trying to do in each of these moments where he's like,
which is,
I need archetypal precocious children, and so he's like, okay, I gotta have the kid that's, gonna talk to lots of people and be super precocious and smart for his age.
These kids were so obnoxious. And from the beginning, they were so obnoxious and so unlikable. You could tell that he was making lines for these. Oh, this is the cute kid moment. Oh, she's singing. This is the precious kid moment. They were so unlikable, only to be topped by their unlikable parents.
Right. I do agree with you, Billy, that that is a problem with the movie, is that you don't care about anyone really. Like,
makes it so much easier for me to go. It's like there's a bunch of open slots in my mind, and I just get to go boop 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 boop. Here's all the puzzle pieces,
right.
And then I'm just like I'm happy.
It's not bad. He's just not super. I feel like he gets the table stakes and then is like, all right, we can move on. I've got enough stuff to worry about. Like, the script's done. Let's worry about like producing and directing this movie. And so that's a little apparent. Like, it's very expositional. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of the opening scene is them like, wow, how we're so young. What's it going to be like when we're older?
Look at these kids. They're large. Not as large as they will be, though.
Yeah.
When they get older.
Mom, you're much older than us because you're an adult and we're children. This is the opening scene, and it's like, okay, this is... there's a natural way to talk about this stuff, and that was not the way. It was like, no, we're going to drop in the setup portion of the script template and fill it in.
Right.
Like paint by numbers.
There's just an issue here. There's an issue here, I'll tell you that. And the issue is with these child actors. Who's writing lines for these child actors? I feel like they're just telling them, listen, go on and try to act like what you think a child would act like. And that's what they're telling them to do. Because no kids act like this. No kids are this obnoxious. You have this little guy running around asking, oh, what do you do? I don't have any kids, thankfully. But you two, as older gentlemen parents, do your kids act like this?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They do a lot of the time. Yeah, I mean, there are weird moments, definitely, more often than you would think. You think they just act... You think they... Yeah.
Yeah, there's... When your children talk to you in adult language, it's disturbing, but also frequent.
Yeah.
Because they're
trying to work that out.
Yeah. I will say this, though. The children are not the worst actors in this movie.
No. No.
They're
actually pretty good.
That crowning achievement goes to... let me look up his name.
Was it the doctor?
No.
Oh.
He wasn't that bad. Ken Leung? Lung.
Oh, the nurse dude.
Oh, yeah.
He played
man.
He played Miles in Lost.
He was hilarious.
He was so bad. Like, his acting was distractingly bad to me.
I didn't notice
especially like the first part where he's like I am a nurse.
He was hilarious.
It was like his line delivery of like, yeah, I mean, it was so like, this person is having a what was happening to the lady?
Epileptic seizure.
She's having an epileptic seizure. I am a nurse. Is there a doctor? Like, it's like, I'm not even lying. Like, that's basically how he did the line delivery. That's so how
it was comedic.
Yeah, but it made sense to me. I go, oh, he's a nurse. He understands that this is the thing that you say in this scenario, and he's staying calm. Like, it all made sense to me. I was just like, yeah, no, like, I have a lot of nurses in my family, and so I'm like, oh yeah, this is probably how they would act.
And he was one of the characters that was given the job of repeating expositional dialogue, where it's like,
are you guys tired of that trope, though? Whenever something happens, a fucking doctor shows up. Oh, I'm a doctor. I'm here to help you no matter what the situation is, because I'm a doctor and I can save you regardless.
So, yeah, I mean, there was a couple. He's not the only, like, bad actor. And I don't even blame it on them necessarily. I think a lot of it has to do with direction, to where I know that M. Night is actually has a reputation for coming in under budget and on time. Like, he's like a very efficient director, and sometimes the way that comes through in directors like that, this is true with like Clint Eastwood too.
Oh yeah.
The thing that you see with those type of directors is like
taking the first shot.
Yeah. And they're not waiting for the best performance. They're like, that's covered. Let's move on. The words were said, and that's the important thing. And they're not about like the tonality or the depth of character. They're like, let's move on to the next shot after this line has been delivered. It's their job to do it good.
Ew, David.
So, I mean, that is kind of apparent throughout the whole movie, but that actor in particular, that character was like distracting to me how bad it was.
You know, speaking of Eastwood, you know what I realized after the movie?
What?
That's Clint Eastwood's daughter. The one with the weird fucking eyes.
Really? The hotel drink giver?
Madrid? Her name was Madrid or something?
No way.
With the weird eyes? That's Clint Eastwood's daughter.
Wow. She's like abnormally gorgeous.
She's not gorgeous. You're full of shit, David Day. Her eyes are like 5 inches apart.
I mean, I definitely know what you're talking about.
She looked like a low rent Anya Taylor.
Yes.
Whatever her name is.
What I'll say about her is, okay, and this is true of like supermodels and models in general, is they're just freakishly proportioned in exotic ways. And her face is so different that she almost looks like the creature on Splice.
Right.
She does.
Right.
Where you're like, there's something a little off about this, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
I think she was fucking shredded.
I think she's very pretty though.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
She's very odd looking. She looked strange.
Yeah, even in a, you know, a lot of times with faces and proportions like that, the camera loves them because they are unique looking, but she is so unique looking that it's like, whoa, like, yeah, she is very, but that's Clint Eastwood's daughter?
Yeah, it's Clint Eastwood's daughter. I had to Google her because she looked so strange, and that's what came up.
He sent me a, hang on. He sent me a, here, Bryce, look at this. He sent me a picture of her with her eyes next to a ruler.
She looks so strange.
Showing how far apart her eyes are.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah,
like it's
so Babyface, you kick her out of bed?
Let me tell you, she was in tremendous shape in terms of physicality. She was shredded. You saw her bicep veins coming in, but her face just doesn't do it for me. Also, I'm not into white girls.
That's really kind of racist of you.
You know?
So they don't waste any time getting to the beach. Like, I appreciate that. They don't spend a lot of time at the resort.
Overall, I feel like they don't waste any time in this movie at all. Almost.
Yeah. So they are basically told by the hotelier or whatever, like, I have a very special place just for you.
Right before this, though, it should be mentioned that they are met with unique and exotic drinks.
Right.
With lots of little flourishes in them and little herbery. And that's important for later, and we'll talk about that later.
And they get to the beach, and everything seems fine except dead bodies are washing on the shore. And, like, again, they don't waste that much time before they get to the premise of the movie, which is there's some kind of time anomaly on this beach to where people age very quickly.
Living things age very quickly.
Right. So I think it's like what was the calculation? It was like every 3 hours was a year?
No, every half hour was a year.
Okay.
Yeah, because the pregnancy occurred on the beach, and she had the baby within 20 minutes.
That made no fucking sense. That made no sense.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of wrong in this movie.
Yeah, that was
oh my God. Like, can I tell you something? And this may like this isn't skipping ahead too far, maybe like a couple minutes in the movie time.
Which is many years in real time.
Yes. But that transition when the kids are starting to age, right? I like how they did it. They don't show their face. But what bothered me, and let me tell you, what bothered me was you're shooting the kids from the back, right? And you're shooting specifically the daughter from the back. She goes from 11 years old to having cheeks out of nowhere. And they just spin the camera, and she goes, what, from 11 to 16? And her cheek development is crazy. They clearly chose the body of a girl. This woman had an hourglass figure with cheeks. And you expect me to believe she went from 11 to 16? I felt like a fucking pervert because the camera just zoomed in on her cheeks, man.
All cheeked up.
She was that's what happened.
Cheeked up.
On a Thursday afternoon.
On a Thursday afternoon on the beach.
She was double cheeked up, and I felt like a pervert because, like, this girl, she's 11. What was she? 16 years old there, double cheeked up.
It's a confusing time for her too.
Yeah.
You know?
I was fucking confused the whole time. But what I liked was, regardless of how cheeked up she was, and the kid too, the little boy, no matter how old they got,
he was cheeked up too.
He was not cheeked up. Their voices always stood childlike, and the way they would say things was constantly childlike. I like that continuity.
Yeah, because their bodies aged, but really their minds didn't get any chance to catch up.
How would they know the fuck?
Well, they just did. You know, I mean, really, how do you go through puberty anyway? You know, it starts with like,
I mean, just like Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
It finds a way.
Oh my God.
So the whole time on the beach, really, this is the one like really great thing you can say about M. Night is he has a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And really, this movie has one overarching idea of like, okay, they're going to age quicker. And then there's just a sequence of vignettes of let's list all the things that happen when you get old.
Well, not just the vignettes about how you get old, but also like setting up the rules for this strange and unique phenomenon. There's a boundary. If you get close to the boundary, you pass out. If you try and climb the wall, you pass out. If you try and go up the canyon, you pass out. If you try and swim too far away in the water, you pass out.
And that's another great idea of like, okay,
Localized.
This is a localized phenomenon, and he likens it to diving underwater, to where like if you come up too quick, you can get the bends.
Right.
And so what's happening when they're trying to leave the area is they're passing out, and that's like what they're saying. This must be what's happening. Maybe if we go, I love this part. Sorry, another aside. They find this out pretty quick, or they have this theory pretty quick, and they say maybe if we move slow out through the canyon and just pause, like we're coming up for air.
This is the biggest problem that I have with the movie.
Maybe we can get through, and then they proceed to not test that theory out ever.
Well, they discount it. They discount it in the most ridiculous way that you could possibly discount it. They go, okay, so what if we just like coming up out of a deep scuba dive, we did it slowly in sections.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, as we're progressing out of the canyon, that'll be years off of our life. And they write it off by saying, are you willing to sacrifice like 50 years of your life to get out of here? And it's like, and then they go, yeah, you're right. Never mind. Fuck that. And it's like, the real answer is, yes. If it means I get out and don't have to die in 10 minutes on this beach, yes.
Yeah. Or the answer is make the kids do it. Like, isn't that the obvious answer of like,
anything.
Just send the youngest person out?
Right. Instead, they choose to die on the beach.
Yeah. It's, I love that he goes through the trouble of explaining this scenario and then never delivers on it. So yeah, I mean, it gets, the length is perfect because this whole concept never really gets old. Like,
that's what she said.
They go through all these ideas of like, what happens when you get old? Okay, well, you get puberty. So they do that with the kids. What happens over time? Pregnancy. Okay, we'll show that. What else happens? You lose your eyesight. All right, we got that.
What if you get cut or stabbed?
Yeah.
Oh, it heals really fast.
Wait, hold on a second. This whole thing with the healing, the healing factors that these guys had, like Wolverine level healing factors, they were getting sliced up. But then at the end, the healing factor doesn't work once you get stabbed multiple times. What's up with that?
No, the healing factor didn't work when you was stabbed with a rusty knife, because then you get
but
tetanus.
The guy... Remember when the crazy racist English dude started stabbing
the doctor?
The
doctor killed mid-sized sedan.
Mid-sized sedan multiple times.
I gotta explain mid-sized sedan here for all our listeners. Mid-sized sedan was actually on this beach with a beautiful young naked woman.
She was lovely.
Before any of our other crew showed up. Bryce is deep into picking his nose right now. Sorry. Deep. He's just digging around.
I have a crusty.
I did too. You didn't see it when I did it.
Yeah.
So mid-sized sedan is a rapper with a gorgeous woman, and he's just sitting there, and then they all show up, and he's black. And so there's a instant like race issue brought up with the doctor.
Instantly, though. It happened as soon as they came in the same scene.
Well, that's how
he was already. It was fucking ridiculous.
That's how it works. You don't like you're either racist or you're not. Like you don't show up as a racist and be like, let's see how this black guy does. I'll let him prove himself. Like,
I also love that low key the very first concept of aging that they have in this movie is that black don't crack.
Oh my god.
They do say that. They're like, oh, this is the only time these white people want to be black.
The two black people look at each other and are like, yeah, we're going to look the same until we're 80.
We're going to do okay.
But the guy didn't explain how long he was at the beach before they got there. Because he was sitting there. It looked like he was sitting there a whole day before they even got to the beach.
I think he was there for an hour or two. Just suspend your disbelief for like a couple minutes.
Yeah,
he was hanging out there as soon as the doctor gets onto the scene. Oh, let's set up our camp over here, not by this black guy sitting on the rocks.
Yeah, that's the other. Oh, you know what? I think I just unlocked something. So, Billy, you said that the unbelievable thing when he got stabbed multiple times, that didn't seem believable. But the person that happened to was the guy whose malady was he had a blood clotting issue. So that's why he's bleeding through his nose most of the time.
That's right.
So his like blood wouldn't clot, so his wounds couldn't heal.
But when he got cut in the face earlier, the wound closed up instantly.
Billy, don't worry about it. He gets stabbed a lot of times.
Well, and the other thing is, if he gets stabbed in some organ,
succession.
If he gets stabbed in some organ that fails immediately, like the heart or the brain or something like that.
They removed a fucking tumor from this lady that was attached to muscle tissue, and while they had their fingers in her. While the wound was closing up to open it up, but the guy still said, I could feel the skin closing.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
They were deep in her guts.
Yeah, that was like probably one of the coolest concepts of like, her skin is closing around my fingers.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So what happens is once they get to the beach and they establish that there's an old thing going on where we're all aging very quickly, then there's this like incredible rapid fire succession of concepts that you just get pelted with. It's like grandma dies because she's already old and she got older. Dog dies because in dog years everything moves fast anyway, so fuck that dog. And it's like the kids are now older. They're fucking and having babies very quickly. The baby
dies.
The baby dies because
lack of attention. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
I just laughed and laughed. I was just like, we set the baby down for a couple seconds, and that ended up being literally days and days in the baby's time.
Yeah, that's the. I love that's the equivalent of like, that'd be too expensive to show a baby growing up in an hour. So let's just find an excuse not to do that.
Well, you could have done something better than like. The more believable thing is you set it down. And you don't feed it.
They should they should have just said it was SIDS. SIDS can strike at any time.
It can strike at any time, no matter what.
Sudden is in the title.
Right.
In the acronym.
And sudden in regular time is very quick compared to sudden in sped up time.
Right.
SIDS.
Like you could have years before SIDS can attack.
Bingo.
But on this beach, it's instantaneous.
I wonder if there's any cases of SIDS in like 15-year-olds.
That would be great. You just
I guess infant is in the name.
What if you just murder your 15-year-old? It's like SIDS.
What am I gonna
yeah.
I think in that scene when all that stuff starts happening so fast, that's when it got my interest again.
Yeah.
On the beach, everything happens so fast. You have all these weird things happening. At one point, they play it up to think that the daughter and the rapper are going to have an intimate relationship. They do that, and then everything just speeds up. The dead girl turns into bones, which was a great thing because they carry that on into the child.
Yeah.
Hell, man.
I really, the pregnancy.
Danger ops, Prangent.
That was ridiculous.
Will it hurt baby top of his head?
It was, sorry, I'm playing some pre-gat drops here, Billy. One moment, hang on.
Can I get bringed if he had a condom on?
That was so alarming to me. I didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah, they don't set it up at all. Like the kids,
they do set it up a little bit. The kids are like kind of touching each other.
Right.
It's so ridiculous how they set it up, though. She's like, I don't feel the same that I did yesterday. I feel differently, but I like how it feels. Man, and then they just start fucking. What?
See, M. Night like completely missed the opportunity here of like having that trading places moment.
Yeah.
Where the kid, like he grows up and he looks down and he's like, whoa, I got a big old dick now. Check out my dick.
Have you guys seen my dick?
My dick, it can get so hard. Look how big my raging hard-on is.
Mom, my penis.
That was one of the times that I turned to David was like one of those moments where they're panning around and not showing the whole shot of the kid to like reveal how old they are. Just has the boy standing like next to his mother as his mother is like laying down, and so his crotch is like eye level. She like looks over in disbelief, and I was like, son, your dick is huge.
Your dick is so big. One character we haven't mentioned yet at all is the Osteoporosis Girl.
Right.
That was great.
Who is, I mean, gorgeous. I mean,
she was not gorgeous. All right, David Day. Let's be honest here.
Here's the deal. Okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you, the idea, I don't understand when this concept became like, oh, tall, skinny, blonde chicks are super attractive. She was not attractive at all throughout the whole movie.
It's a bold statement.
She was not. She looked like her body looked just sunburnt, dried up. She was not attractive.
Okay. What? This is important because everybody finds different things attractive. What do you find attractive there, Billy?
I told you, Violet Mayers is the perfect example of what I find attractive.
Break it down for me.
All right, so we need a woman that has secondary sexual characteristics. You know, she can't be skinny. You have to have a nice birthing hips, some fat on you, some nice glutes, some nice legs, some breastises. Then personally, I like a nice tan complexion, the nice long dark hair, things that accentuate the feminine features, you know?
Okay.
It's simple.
See, so, I mean, some people like, slashers. Other people like thrillers. Some people are into the paranormal. Me, I'm an equal I find women attractive. Women. And I love them to a degree that it's hard for me to describe.
Right.
The femininity is the thing that I like.
She was not feminine looking at all. She was just skinny. She was built like a swimmer.
This brings up an important point. If you aren't watching Cooking with Paris Hilton on Netflix right now, you are missing out.
She's the reason that whole archetype of ladies became even
Paris
popular.
Hilton is the reason why tall, skinny blondes are like the reason that
she was the first one.
She was the first one ever. Forget all the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in David's camp in terms of like, I have a very wide spectrum of attraction for women, and it really just comes down to, are you a woman?
Right. Are you a woman? Will you say feminine things to me?
That being said, there are like different aspects of like, okay, well that's, obviously like the face can have a wide range of attractiveness. And I will say with this girl in the movie, she was not just skinny, she was entering like the range of gauntness. Like,
yes,
the range of like, okay, that looks like an eating disorder.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Like the cheeks,
they popularized the bulimia.
Look.
I mean, the body was nice, but like
you're just further stigmatizing it. Like I'm okay. Look, everybody has problems. If you have bulimia, I still love you.
No, I mean it's I'm not gonna act like I care about other people's health, but like it's like a phenomenon. Like you look at, if you've ever known someone that's been anorexic, or even look at like bodybuilders, and when they're doing the competition that they've cut, and they're like, that person is dehydrated and gaunt. Like you can just see their face sunken in. Yeah. Their body looks fantastic. You can see every definition of it, but that's not natural. That's not like an everyday thing.
What's your point, David?
I think we can make a comparison here. So we have the blonde lady, and then we have the blonde lady Madrid from the beginning. These are two different types of skinny woman.
Yeah.
The Clint Eastwood's daughter, she's shredded like she was working out. You can see the muscle and the veins on her. This other one was just gone, like she had an eating disorder. Look, I don't know how we got into this conversation.
Look, it doesn't matter. They're all beautiful. I don't care.
But regardless, she's got osteoporosis.
Yeah, she has a bone disease.
Like, I need calcium.
And
then she's like, so that's the thing that does get sold by the script, is that she is vain, and she really cares about her appearance. So that's like ripe for the concept of the movie. But really, they don't. My one complaint is that they don't really do a lot in stages. Like, they don't show a lot of change, especially with the adults.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of see, like, towards the end, they're doing a little bit with makeup, but it's not like...
And they excuse that, though. They go, hey, we're not going to see a whole lot of change with us throughout because we have a budget.
Right, exactly.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You're going to see the biggest changes from a child into adolescence and all that. Once you hit a certain age, those changes aren't as profound as they were earlier.
And the kids, you end up seeing 3 different actors per kid. So you have the little kid, you have the teens, and then you have 4 different actors. You have a mid-20s, mid-30s, and then you have the old, the 40s and 50s actors.
And I love that they're all, so like the little kid, the boy. I love that every single one of those actors is based off of the appearance of the guy from Hereditary.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta put that big mole on everyone.
Yeah.
In the same spot.
Is that the guy from Hereditary?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And from Pig. He was in Pig, too.
I have not seen Pig yet. Have you seen Pig yet, Babyface?
That kid's annoying. Let me tell you something. He was in the Naked Brothers band. Do you remember that?
No. Naked What?
Was that guy in Times Square?
Yeah, it was in the Naked Brothers band.
What's that?
It was a program for the youths, the kids of 2 brothers. They weren't naked, they were clothed, and they were a part of a band.
Did you
see this? It was on Nickelodeon.
Band?
Oh.
I saw it in passing. It was in Nickelodeon.
I was not aware.
He's Hispanic. Is that why you dislike him, Billy?
He's not Hispanic. He's clearly Jewish.
Oh, what?
Yeah, as a Jewish man myself, I can tell when I see my own.
Oh, he's Jewish. Okay. Well, there you have it. But he annoys you because he's Jewish?
I would assume that you're not Jewish. Billy doesn't seem like a real Jewish name.
What?
It's William.
William?
It's William Steele.
Yeah.
Which is clearly a stage name.
Yeah, that sounds like a stage name.
That's my actual shoot name. That's my real name. But this guy just doesn't rub me the right way. There's just something about his face and his acting. He's just annoying. He reminds me of the guy from, what was the movie? The guy that's playing Flash now. There's something wrong with, what is Jacob, Jeremy, James, John? What's the movie called?
Oh, there's something wrong
Kevin. We got to talk about Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about Kevin, yeah.
He looks like that guy.
Yeah, a little bit. I see that.
Oh, okay, yeah. A little bit.
They should have got him for old.
So we should mention that throughout the movie there are little nods to there's a guy on a hillside or something flashing off on a hillside, and they kind of established that we're being watched by someone. Someone's observing us this whole time.
I love the point where they're like, "It's a camera," because it's a green light, and obviously it could only be a camera if it's a green light.
Shut up. Give the movie a break here.
This guy broke the fourth wall so many times, Mr. M. Night Shyamalan. I respect him for that.
I do too. I had a really fun time watching it, and part of the reason I liked this was because I was constantly asking, like, what if this? Like, what if that? And it would answer those things. And it really did a weird frenetic thing that I think would, if this beach existed, I think this would happen. Time is sped up so much that you're just, how they say when you get old, you're just more you're like you distilled, Mm-hmm. Well, like all of these characters became more and more themselves,
Mm-hmm.
They really, like the vain woman who is very gaunt and skinny, she became very vain and very and the doctor, who was clearly experiencing dementia issues, just get further and further down that rabbit hole. And all the characters...
I just realized, did they ever say the movie that he was trying to allude to?
No.
What was it?
It was Marlon Brando and who?
Marlon Brando and... Was it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
No.
Who was it?
Was it?
I can't believe we didn't write it down. Marlon Brando and some other actor.
Marlon.
And aside from that, this guy, I thought he was suffering from dementia. As this thing went on, I was like, oh, this guy's clearly suffering from something. And as he's going on, the symptoms are getting worse. And when at the end, it said he was a paranoid schizophrenic.
Right.
I was like, what?
Well, maybe they misdiagnosed him.
You should have went with the dementia, but why was he act like... It made more sense if you went with dementia.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense.
Because they were trying to portray it as he couldn't remember things.
Yeah, and you don't. I mean, typically, paranoid schizophrenia doesn't onset in midlife.
Right.
I mean, it can, I suppose, but
usually
he had multiple personalities. I didn't understand what was happening with him. They should have went with the dementia part to it. That's completely different. A more profound question I have for the two of you and our listeners in the audience. As one ages, what is the catalyst of change? Is one truly the same as they were when they were a child? Does that really remain as our body grows amongst us? Or do these experiences really play such a traumatic and shaping role in us that we're forced to just give away all that joy from childhood?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're always a new person every moment. He loves that I'm seriously answering this.
But towards the end of the film, are we at the end of it yet?
So hang on. I'm gonna walk us through a little bit of this. The Asian man dies swimming. The little girl, the daughter of the doctor and the osteoporosis lady, she dies climbing. The black lady dies of a seizure. The doctor gets real stabby and angry. And our protagonists kind of, one of them goes deaf, the other one starts going blind, and they kind of forget the fight that they were having and just end up a cute old couple.
Bunch of bullshit.
And as we make our way towards the end of the movie, our protagonist, young lad, who is now an old man, who befriended another young man at the resort, pulls out a note from his friend that says something to the effect of, "My dad doesn't like the coral," and my dad...
Can someone explain that, though? When did he get that letter? Because it only showed him getting one letter.
Yeah, they were passing these notes back and forth. It just presumed that he's you don't have to see the... If you saw the note passed from one hand to another, you'd be complaining that they were showing too much detail. So he gets this note. It says, "My dad doesn't like the coral." His dad is the owner of the resort, so...
Or his uncle.
His uncle.
Oh, sure, his uncle. And so it is established that, maybe the coral is... Because there's no living things on this beach, but out there's a living thing.
It's literally like
it's the coral.
The swing away moment.
Right.
Like, it's the coral. Go to the coral. Okay. The end of movie.
Swim through the coral, and that will allow you to pass out of this time anomaly. And so they do. They pass through this. They pass through the coral. They evade detection by M. Night Shyamalan, who is the man on the hill observing them. He's observing them because, here's the twist, there is a medical lab operating and doing testing on all of these people who are the patients. These people all have different diagnoses. So the black lady had epileptic seizures. Her husband, a mid-sized sedan, had
a blood clotting disorder.
The doctor had
schizophrenia.
The doctor's wife had osteoporosis, and by the way, very disturbing death scene with her. That moment,
was great.
Yeah, it was really gross.
It was great. But here's the thing with this whole movie, the tone just kept on changing ridiculously. You went into that looked like a scene out of a serious horror movie. It was that haunting and scary.
Yeah.
And then they go to building fucking sandcastles in the next scene.
I liked it. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So are we done explaining?
So yeah, and so they justify their testing by saying, this is going to help thousands of people. We found a cure for this woman's epilepsy. And now we can go into production with it. But of course, these two kids escape, who are now very old people, and they tell the story, and they bust the lab. The end.
So I have two questions. Oh, jeez. I was glad that you didn't have coffee in there. The two questions. One is, what was your favorite, like, little aging concept vignette? Like, what was the best thing in it?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd have to say that she was when she got cheeked up.
That was the best part of the fucking scene. That was the best part. Thank you for playing it back. When she got cheeked up out of nowhere, it made me question my morality.
Yeah. I like it when my morality is questioned. No, I probably, I really enjoyed the surgery on the tumor where they had to hold her, like the cut open so that they could pull this fucking cantaloupe out of her. That was great. What was yours, Billy? Did you have a favorite aging thingy?
You know, aside from the whole cheeked up moment, that was really great. I didn't really have the osteoporosis one was great because it was so shocking and just so hard out of nowhere when things where the tone of the movie was just jumping from one thing to the other. The Asian dude swimming made no fucking sense because, like, dude, you say you're a nurse, you're trying to come off as this smart guy. Don't you think if you're swimming, your muscles are going to age, the lactic acid is going to build up, it's going to end up fucking killing you instantly? What are you doing? Why are you going to try to swim? Fact. But then I'm just thinking throughout the whole, towards the end of the movie where they discover these forks and all these utensils, I'm just thinking they're thinking about making a metal suit. Just make yourself a fucking suit of fork armor and go through the cave. Was I the only one thinking that?
That was the one thing that I thought was going to be a thing and wasn't at all. Was that
they're going to make a suit?
No, they have this cooler full of food, and wouldn't all that food go instantly rotten?
No, because the food is dead.
Yeah, but there's bacteria. That's what makes food go bad.
Oh,
that's true. She had a creamy pasta.
Well, the bacteria would die instantly.
Why?
Because the life of bacteria is...
Yeah, but they would multiply. So I thought the thing that they were trying to sell was all of the food was like packed in these like aluminum foil packets. I was like, the aluminum protects them. So I was like, just dump out all that food, make an aluminum...
Swing away, Meryl.
Yeah, make an aluminum suit out of, out of that stuff. And they didn't do that at all. So my favorite, I think, was the osteoporosis monster at the end. That was probably pretty great. I just checked the actress of the teenage version. It was Thomasin McKenzie, which you might recognize from Jojo Rabbit and Leave No Trace. You can feel okay because she's of age.
Oh,
so okay. You'd be okay with being attracted to her being double cheeked up. So next question was what was a missed opportunity? Like what's something that you think they should have addressed with old age that they just didn't?
Pants shitting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I was immediately like, why is no one shitting their pants?
Yeah, man, like they'd be shitting and pissing the entire last.
I shit my pants while
minutes.
We've been recording this.
Right.
It's a problem.
How about you, Billy?
I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for the kid, the son, because he experienced having a boner, having sex for the first time, knocking someone up, all in a matter of what, a minute?
Yeah,
and that was minutes. It. Then 20 minutes by the movie time, and he had to live with the grief of not only experiencing his first boner, having sex for the first time, knocking up this girl, losing a child. It was a tremendous amount of loss for one guy who just got to have sex once.
On the flip side, best day ever.
Best day.
like, got a huge dick.
Out of nowhere.
Immediately got to have sex.
But got someone knocked up.
Like went through puberty, but got to have sex immediately.
And luckily, your baby dies.
And it's all the abortion is taken care of post-op.
If I was in that situation, I'd be trying, and I know I only have a couple of hours to live. Try to fuck as many times as you can before the dick stops working. Poor guy had to live with all that grief. He was going through all this psychological trauma of losing his kid, then losing his wife out of nowhere, because I guess she turned into his wife.
Yeah,
sure. So what's the missed opportunity, Billy?
The missed opportunity in this movie.
He doesn't have it.
Okay.
I really don't have it.
So mine would be that they'd never address, as the men get older, just real saggy balls.
Oh yeah. Oh dude.
They'd just be
after the
oh my God, my balls are just sag. They're moving an inch a second.
Let me tell you.
Actually, I came up with it. I came up with a point here.
Okay.
And the point, and this was bothering me too, is how at the end of the movie, and they don't explain the origin of this island and how it's this crazy otherworldly phenomenon.
Yeah.
Everyone just agrees with it and says, okay, yeah, I guess that happens on this island here. Yeah, okay. You have all these scientists, all these, I presume to be pharmacists there, just agreeing with it. Yeah, I guess this happens here off the coast of Hawaii. You age a whole lifetime in a day. The police officer is reading through all of this. He's like, oh, this is a real case here. He calls back to his police friend. Since he's a police officer, you're not telling where he's from. Is he an international spy that has these fucking connections that he can shut down this whole operation? It was a bunch of loose ends here that made no sense.
Well, my final recommendation for this one is, this is just a blast. This was a lot of fun to see in movie theaters, especially with a friend. And I will definitely watch this movie again. Just like I do with all M. Night movies. I have so much fun with them. So
yeah, this is one of those where I'm surprised that I'd make the recommendation to go see it in the theater, especially with how low of a score I give it. But I do think that this is worth seeing in a theater with other people if you can.
Yeah.
If it's still in the theater. It's been out for 3 weeks now, so who knows if it's
weeks.
going to be here when we release this episode. But yeah, it's a good watch. It's fun. Don't expect too much.
What do you think, Billy?
Personally, I never watch a movie twice, so I won't watch this one again. But if there's a sequel to it or a prequel explaining what the hell happened and how this island came about, I'll watch it.
Young. Yeah, it'll be young.
Young, yes. Or old too. That was a good one. What the hell was that?
Okay, so
I think actually I want to test something. I think this mixer is a little better at clipping.
Yeah, I think it is.
Be really loud. See if you can make it clip. The children! The children!
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think it does the.
I'm gonna cut
clipping
that.
thing.
I'm gonna cut that and put it on the end.
So there is a
added benefit.
There's a silver lining.
Okay, and with that, let's get into horror movie talk. Whores.
Whore. 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 Whores. Whore. Whores. A horse. Whore. Whore. Horse. Whore. Whore. Whores. Whore. 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 Whores.
Horror movie talk horrors, a little bit we like to do where we let you call into the show. We have so many that we're not going to get to them all. I'm not going to do them all. I'm going to do a couple, and we'll save some others for next week.
And Billy's not going to be able to hear any of them.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Sorry, Billy.
Sorry,
That's
Billy.
all right. It's all right.
You're going to have to be quiet while we play these, and I'll start talking, and you'll know. So here we go. Here's our first call. It looks like it's going to be CJ.
Hey, CJ from Massachusetts. I'm listening to the Anna and the Apocalypse episode right now. And, Bryce, I'm a horror movie fan, not a theater nerd. Cut the shit with the theater talk. It's really boring. And, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about half the time, so, yeah, come on. Stick with the horror movies.
constructive criticism there from CJ telling Bryce that he listened to the End of the Apocalypse episode and he didn't like the theater talk coming from Bryce. What do you think about that, Bryce?
That's just like your opinion, man. I mean, it's not like we're going to cover many more musical horror movies. There's like 3.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I mean, there's like Repo the Genetic Opera. There's the Plant one.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horror. And then there's Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is kind of loosely tied into the horror genre, but I can't think of it.
I'm getting really tired of this theater talk.
Sweetie.
Let's move on.
Okay, moving on.
Wait, hold on a second. He didn't like the theater talk coming from Bryce?
Right.
Yeah.
What a queer-hating moron. Fuck that guy.
Hey, I'm married and have children.
He hates the queers. CJ does. Sorry,
Fuck
CJ.
you, CJ.
Whoa. Hey, here we have, boy, this is a somewhat familiar number. Let's give this one a go.
Hey, this is Ro from the Bronx calling it again. After I heard that last podcast where the nice doctor lady was, and she responded to my calls and said how I should reevaluate how I think of females. I really took it seriously, and the whole day at work, I was just thinking about it. I was wondering, am I really turning into this hyper-aggressive, sexist man filled with toxic masculinity? And it looked like that's happening. I really have no one to blame but myself and my past. I think it's just stuff from my past is coming back to get me. There was a long time ago, I was sent to a camp, and at this camp, everyone made fun of me. People tried to make advances at me, and it was just really sad. It was really sad. And then I ended up finding out that I was raised as a man, but I'm actually a female. I was a female, and I was raised to take the place of my brother who passed away. And I think that's where it's coming from, the fact that I was raised as something I wasn't because my mother experienced the loss of a child at an early age. I want to apologize to all the women I offended. I want to apologize to the gothic chick from the Creep episode for insulting her and her many tattoos, and any other female that I may have insulted on this podcast. Anyway, peace, guys. I'm gonna go think about my life here.
Long rambling message from
Rojo is just
Rojo that
he can't shut up.
Seems like he is apologizing for all of his previous behavior that was definitely sexist.
This is kind of a thing with Rojo. Like he'll do one call where he's insulting us and everyone, and a
lot of regret on the back
personal
end.
attacks, and then he'll call in and he'll apologize.
Yeah, this guy's from the Bronx too, which explains the similar accent. Apparently he was raised as a male, but he's
born
really
a woman,
which calls into question.
Sounds like the plot to Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah. Angela.
Okay, thanks, Rojo. I can't say that you're forgiven necessarily. Emma's gonna have to tell you whether or not he did speak of her with some respect, and also
the doctor lady.
Yeah. So here is another one from, I think, CJ. Here we go.
Oh, no.
Hey, CJ again. Forgot to mention, Bryce, you're going to have to sing for us on air one day. But as far as attending a musical goes, I'd rather listen to the bodily fluid exchange on repeat 100 times over while being trampled by a gaggle of horny orangutans than go to a musical. David, how dare you take a day off? Unsubbed, cancel my Patreon, never listening again. 5-star review for your ass. Talk to you next week.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you really see who's in the David camp. Everyone's like, enough of the Bryce.
enough of musicals is
Enough
what
of
they're
musicals.
saying. He's saying no more musicals. He says, David, don't take any days off.
Right.
How dare you?
Right.
This is a kid. All right, well, you're near to Massachusetts, babyface. What are Boston people like? Not that CJ's from Boston necessarily, but I'm interested.
Something about these. Let me tell you the grand scheme of things here. Everyone wants to be from the New York City area. I don't know why, but everyone, when they think of show business, the stars, the lights, everyone just thinks about New York City. Personally, I hate it here. I can't stand the fucking New York City area. But for Massachusetts, I feel like they're so close to us, yet they can't be us. And maybe that's why he's queer hating and hates the musicals. Because right here in New York City is where all the queers are. We love musicals.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So, CJ, try to think about yourself and think about your toxic masculinity, because we're not about that here.
So, Billy, what's your favorite musical?
The Phantom of the Opera. All
right. There you go. Occasionally, Babyface will try to sing on the air on Hotline, but I'm in charge of editing the episodes.
I'm getting real mixed message here from CJ. He's saying enough theater talk. I'm here for horror movies, and then he's asking for me to sing live.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you do have a gorgeous voice. Would you like to just throw a bar, like maybe just do a warm-up bar?
No.
I saw that Instagram video. You have some sexy pipes there.
Yeah, you can go on our Instagram or YouTube and you can find it. I've done the Candyman video, and I think that's enough.
Speaking of Candyman,
that's true. Yeah.
Did you guys see that trailer before Old for Candyman?
Yeah, pretty cool.
What do you think about that?
I'm excited for it.
Is that guy going to be in it? What's his name? Tony Todd?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Is he? He's going to do a little cameo?
It's one of those things that they're trying to keep under wraps, but they already spoiled it like a year ago, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be in it.
Let's see if this next call is anything. Give me just a minute here.
Wrong phone number.
I don't know what that is. They called the wrong... If you'd like to get a hold of the bodily fluids exchange, I don't have the number handy right off the bat here, but you called the wrong number, sir. We don't do that on the air here. This is a good, a Christian show. Okay, here is Michael.
It's Michael from Nebraska. I'm gonna have to go with bats. You can't defend a bunch of zombies off of the spear if they're right in front of you, like a few feet away. You have to splatter some brains, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to say this about Michael. So here's for Billy. Michael says you're familiar with the bats versus spears debate that we've been having on and off. Michael,
I think our last episode we finally had the origin of that debate. I think we did that in the Evil Dead.
No, that
barely
was not,
released it.
That was not the origin of it.
Wasn't it?
No, it was like a month ahead of that.
Really?
Yeah. But Michael is from Nebraska, and by the way, Michael sounds like he's from Nebraska. Something about the tone of his voice, but he says
sounds like he's surrounded by corn.
It says he would go with bats. He says you can't defend yourself from a bunch of zombies that are right near you if you got a spear. Of
course you can.
So you in Camp Spear?
I mean, there's just some things you have to argue with logic. With spear, it has a lot of length. It's a good defensive weapon. You keep things at bay. Then you have the sharp end to it. You can stab them. Listen, if you're with a spear, you don't have to worry about them coming close to you.
Exactly. Right. Thank you, Billy.
Right.
Then you can throw the spear, attach a string to it, and pull it back.
These are the people who are with you, Bryce.
See, this is the thing.
These retards are with you.
Hey,
it's the perfect weapon during a zombie apocalypse.
So here's the thing. Like, everyone's saying at close range, the bat's better. 2 counterpoints is you don't want it at close range. And number 2, if you have more than one, like, you have one swing, and that's it. And you can only hit one of them, and the other zombies are going to get you. If you have a spear, You got lots of stabbing motions that you can do at a distance.
See, here's my biggest issue with the spear is, yeah, you keep saying, oh, you keep them at distance, but if it's a spear, it just goes into them. It just sinks into their body. And by the way, they don't have pain receptors. It's not like they're just going to get put like hurt, and it's just going to sink into them. And then you got to get your spear out of them. And with a bat, you just bonk them, and you know, I mean, hopefully it bonks through their skull and kills them. But I don't know. It seems like it'd be a lot harder to poke them in the head with a spear. You get
you can do 3 jabs in like a second.
Yeah, like a pool cue.
Yeah. Like I've got a lot of practice with the jerking motion on a pole, and like I can get some speed. Well, with a bat, you get one swing and that's it. So even if you're not accurate, if you can do 5 jabs a second, you could get at least one in that eye socket.
Well, I mean, you've just described a huge waste of time. But here's what I'll say.
It's in 2 seconds?
Here's what I'll say. In the interest of just closing this debate up, I feel like
I think you've already said that you're in Team Spear now. You conceded
a huge waste of time.
You conceded several episodes ago that you were in Team Spear. So the debate has been solved. We're done with it. The answer is Spear.
Well,
let's move on to the next caller.
No, I was actually going to say some nice things. Like I was really actually going to extend an olive branch. But then I realized how inaccurate a fucking long olive branch was and how much better I'd be with a goddamn bat.
I feel you're overlooking the diversity of the spear. With how long it is, you can technically have 2 sharp ends.
Mm-hmm.
And you can swing both ways.
Yeah, and then you can have a real pointy thing pointing at you half the time.
Well, who's that guy at Darth Maul?
Some people say...
And he died.
No, he didn't. Not in the EU. But
you swing it around and you stab both ways. You jerk it both ways, kind of like that.
A lot of people say oh no, what's better than a spear is a sword. But you can have a sword on a spear.
It's true.
You like the Japanese. You have the yari, and I think the other one's called something that starts with an N.
It's
basically like a little samurai sword.
Let's head on down to the spear store, guys. Let's go grab us some spears. Oh, this ubiquitous thing that's so easy to come by. Okay, that's what I thought. Here is Megan from somewhere nearby.
Oh. All right, goddammit. This is Biggin from Portland.
It's not Megan, it's Biggin. It's Biggin.
It's not Megan.
It's Biggin. Here, we're starting this over. Here's Biggin. Here's Biggin.
All right, goddammit. This is Biggin from Portland. And I gotta say, you finally did it. You got my Jimmy's wrestled. I'm a little bit behind on the episodes, but I just listened to one of them, and you said that your favorite sponsor on there was Night Channels. And you know, I got nothing against Night Channels. They're probably good people. But you're going to tell me?
They are good people, Biggin, and they're from Portland, just like you.
So, yeah, I think we get the concept of what Biggin's...
Hang on, we're not going to cut him off because he is a longtime patron.
Okay.
That they're your favorite sponsor instead of patron members like myself. That's it. All right. You wrestled the Jimmies. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys all. And Rojo, you better not be dead. I don't know where you guys are at in the episodes if Rojo is called back in or not, but I haven't heard his sexy voice in a long time. And us Irishmen, we really got to stick together. So, anywho, fuck you.
So yeah, he says fuck horror movie talk because we like Night Channels more than patrons. We don't. We like all kids. We like you both equally.
So I mean, we compartmentalize. I mean, for me, I don't count the Patreon members as sponsors. No, they're not advertisers.
No, they're patrons.
Yeah,
it's
they're
a
patrons.
Thing. Yeah,
they're family.
Yeah, they're family. And then he goes on. Biggin goes on to say he hopes Rojo is not dead. And he says us Irishmen have to stick together. If Biggin's Irish, he's the largest Irishman I've ever seen. It doesn't seem like that pans out, but I guess you can be a couple different things. I don't know. Let's see how many more calls I have. Holy shit. I'm going to do 2 more calls. 2. And then that's it. That's it.
Maybe we could do a separate episode just to go through the rest of the calls, since we had we could have a mini episode where we just answer the calls.
Ah!
Okay.
Here's the next call.
Hey, this is a new first-time listener. Not really first-time listener. You guys get what I mean. I just started listening to you guys probably like a month ago, and, you know, I was never really into the whole podcast thing because it's just like two guys talking to each other, which sounds kind of weird. But you know what? You guys are the first one that popped up because I love horror movies. I'm a movie collector. I love watching all brand new movies. And I just want to say you guys are the funniest two people I've heard. And just really quick, just to clear the air with something on the podcast episode of Creep. You guys are the reason why I got into Creep. It's now probably one of my favorite horror movies. I fucking loved it. It was a little creepy, ha ha ha. The name is Creep, ha ha ha. Funny. Fuck myself. Fuck. Okay, so I'm getting tracked. I'm getting off track. So I was kind of confused and a little pissed off. So the part that you guys did with horror movie or porno, and it's like 99999.
What the
That
hell?
was definitely Inglourious Bastards. I don't know how you guys didn't know that, but I was laughing my ass off, and I was so mad at the same time. So as for like recommendations, I think you guys should do Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, because that is probably like one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I think it would bring so much joy to hear you guys talk about that one. Another one, probably Martyrs. I know I heard a caller from Illinois also talking. Oh, I'm from Chicago, by the way. Sorry, I should have said that right away at the beginning. Anyway, you guys should do Martyrs, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, and possibly Maniac. I think those would be some good ones that you guys should definitely do. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for making such a funny podcast. You two guys are some of the most down-to-earth dudes.
He goes on this way. So, thank you so much, Mike from Chicago. We appreciate you reaching out to us and letting us know that we're the best. We know we're the best. But it's always nice to have that affirmed. He says we should do Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, Maniac, and Martyrs. And Mike, I'm going to tell you what I tell 3 or 4 people a day who reach out to us on social media when they're like, you got to review this movie over here. I go, hey, yeah, I'm sure that's a great movie, and I'm sure I'll like it a lot. But the only way that this is going to happen is if you become a patron and vote on it with the patrons. Because otherwise, if I'm taking money from patrons who love the show and they get to vote on a movie per month for us to watch, and then I just take Mike from Chicago and I go, okay, Mike, I'll watch Martyrs for you. That's not fair to all these patrons over here. But so, yeah, I mean, or the other way is, and we've said this multiple times, is you mount a huge political campaign on our social media, like Magnus over there at Filmkluben podcast. And you know, you get a grassroots groundswell movement for Maniac or whatever movie you want watched. So,
Tales from the Crypt was a great fucking movie.
Now, is it Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, or are those two different movies? Is it Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight?
You know, I actually wasn't paying attention. I thought he said Tales from the Hood.
No,
Tales from the Crypt.
Have you guys done Tales from the Hood before?
Not yet. That's a good one, though.
That's a great fucking movie.
I just looked it up. It's Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight, 1995.
Isn't Demon Knight a DC character?
Demon Knight. Boy, that's a deep dive. I couldn't tell you.
That's a DC character, Demon Knight.
No, you're thinking the Dark Knight.
No, Demon Knight. He speaks in poems.
Poems?
It's a real character, the Demon Knight.
All right. Okay. Here's our last call for today. Here we go.
What's up, guys? My name is Tiana Ortiz.
Tiana.
And I am regretting saying my full name, but that's okay. My name's Tiana. We'll go with that. Calling from Nevada. Just wanted to let you guys know that the first podcast that I listened to of you guys was your Jaws. And for me, Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. And I completely agreed with every single one of your points about the film. and you both have a pretty impeccable Robert Shaw impression. So quit your day jobs because you've got that going for you. Another thing, since that podcast, I've been listening to everything else in between. Recently listened to your newer one, just listened to Sputnik. Thought it was pretty rad. You guys are doing good. I recommended you guys to all my friends back home in Wyoming, so hope it keeps blessing. All right, later.
Thank you, Tiana.
Wow.
That's so nice of you to say.
She's from Nevada, but she's got a lot of friends from Wyoming. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say she might be Mormon.
Is she from Boston? Wait.
She said she was from Nevada. Tiana from Nevada.
Oh, yeah. She says Nevada. Yeah.
I got to say, like, I've got an aunt in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And almost everyone that I've met from Wyoming knows my aunt. There's not a lot of people in Wyoming.
Wow. Wow.
If they're in Wyoming, and especially if they're in Star Valley.
You should see Babyface's face right now. It's all baby-like. But it's also all confused. It's just like, what?
Who the hell's your aunt?
She's Carla. Carla from Wyoming. You know Carla.
She's
the mayor of Wyoming?
No, she's my Aunt Shirley. And she taught home ec.
That's Carla.
Oh, she taught home ec.
So,
do they have that class anymore?
No, I'm pretty sure not.
Probably not. Maybe in Wyoming. But she lives in Afton, Wyoming.
Oh,
but she taught at Star Valley High School or whatever it's called. Not Star, some valley.
One
thing.
of the two high schools in Wyoming.
Yeah. Afton, Wyoming, I visited once. They have the largest Elkhorn Arch.
Oh, wow.
Which is great.
What the hell's that?
And their population is smaller than the population of my high school that I graduated from.
And was not a terrifically large high school.
No, it's not huge, but it's no, actually I think it was smaller than my graduating class, maybe. So Wyoming is pretty spread out. And if you know someone in Wyoming, it's one of the, exception that proves a rule, which is those people usually know each other.
Beautiful state. I will say it does have one of the worst weather events that you can possibly have. It's low-key shitty weather event. It's just wind. You don't realize how shitty wind is until you got 80-mile-an-hour wind whipping past you. It just ruins your whole day. No matter how nice or terrible the day is, wind will fuck it. It will fuck your day up. Anyway, Tiana loved our Jaws review. She loves Jaws. She thinks our Robert Shaw impression. I would assume your Robert Shaw impression.
He's got black eyes like Darla's eyes.
Yeah, quit your day job, Bryce.
What the hell was that?
Because you can make a living off of that.
There's a real high demand for Robert Shaw impressions.
So he goes to L.A. and he becomes a Robert Shaw impersonator. Unfortunately, he was up against 3 other Robert Shaw impersonators.
So thanks, Tiana, for the kind words. Ask your friends if they know who Shirley Gardner is and get back to me.
The hell's Shirley Gardner? Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Babyface.
I know her. I know Shirley Gardner.
Babyface, can you do me a favor and tell our listeners one more time about Hotline and Advice podcast?
So let me tell you guys, Hotline and Advice podcast. It's the advice podcast by 2 real people giving real advice. Sometimes that advice may come off as misogynistic and conservative. But remember, there's 2 of us there. That's mostly David Day.
That's not.
I'm we have some great calls, some great people writing in. A lot of people like to write in more than they do call. Can't blame them. It's the nerves. And people don't want to be have their identity given out.
Yeah, it's a great show because it basically takes this last segment that we did, Horror Movie Talk Horrors, and it just turns that into the whole show, right? So you can call into our voicemail line. You can write us at hotlinepod@gmail.com. And you can basically get on our show and we'll try our best to answer whatever questions you may have.
Our topics of conversation are wide and varied.
Yes.
Now, a great way to build off of the horror movie talk. We have our spooky spectacular coming up in October, where we will only do spooky stories from the listeners, of course.
Right. You're pushing this so hard. I'm so excited to see whatever actually happens. If it's more just like, I got my girlfriend pregnant, she won't have an abortion.
That's pretty fucking spooky.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Billy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We appreciate you. You guys can find Hotline and Advice podcast starring myself and Babyface Billy wherever you find podcasts. It does help if you search for Hotline and Advice podcast. It is somewhat small right now, and we're hoping to change that with this spot. So, thanks again for listening to Horror Movie Talk. We appreciate you. Make sure to share this episode and all of our episodes with a friend like Tiana did, because she's a fucking baller, and she probably...
Or with Violet Mayers, please. Now that we have the reach, the Horror Movie Talk reach, please redirect any Violet Mayers inquiries to the Hotline podcast. We really need her support.
If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by supporting our sponsor, nightchannels.com, using that HMT code, or you can just head over to our website, buy stuff from our shop, and use the Amazon link at the top of the site to surf on Amazon, buy yourself some cat litter over there, and some of that will go to us, and that does help us out a lot. Special thanks again to Babyface Billy. Thank you for coming on the show, Billy. I appreciate you.
No problem, guys.
And with that, I hope y'all have a great week. We love you.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Violet Bears. Hit us up, please.
Looking for a podcast full of burps and gas, perverted cast, skinny and fat? Look no further. Horror Movie Talk is accidentally funny, begs to donate money, fake sponsors for dummies, and so much more. New episodes every hump day. They'll pickle your dickle for foreplay. Patreon members have it your way. Vote for a movie every month for the review. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rump. Sun kiss, Bryce Hansen. Look at them hot kids, Chris Henson. Masturbate with a crucifix, exorcist. Face huggers, chest bursters, alien. Linda Blair peed on Sigourney Weaver. I know it's true cause it came from social media. Patrick Bateman can't understand you. Stab you to death for rotten apple reviews. Opinionated podcaster with a doctorate. Spookology, doctor of philosophy. Bad gastritis, need colostomy. Turn Patreons into human centipedes. David Doobie Day, scare no expert. And Global fucks hard, professional sexpert. Afterpods, taglines, and porno flicks. American Psycho, them guys pretty sick. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rumps. Nothing good happens in the woods. Always get more than you bargained for. Got a pickle to dickle, machines tickle bitties. Killer on the phone, ain't no Sharon Stone. Vancouver, Portland, Oregon, and organs. Corona, COVID, curse, Lorona. Green River Killer, because reasons. Hallway of poop monster kids screaming. Ain't your ordinary dingleberry itinerary. 30-day shutter and jump scares, they fucking scary. Time for the spoilers with jokes and tropes. Use their white socks to catch their loads. Just show them one titty, pretty. Paganism you should worship, they Teflon dicks. Pacific Northwest, let them see one breast. Shifty ass, stay spooky, poor man's digress. Bugsy, HMT, Horror Movie Talk. Hold on, they don't like Halloween. Fuck them.
Lucifer!